Today on Think and Retire, we are looking at the best TSX dividend growth stocks for the retirees, for beginners, and also for investing in TFSA and RRSP in 2026. Most beginners are buying the wrong Canadian dividend stocks, and it is costing them thousands in lost income and growth. And the worst part is some high dividend stocks are actually destroying your wealth over time. Similarly, for retirees, imagine working for 40 years and hitting the retirement date and then realizing that your fixed income cannot even meet all your expenses due to inflation. If you want a wealthy future and a secure retirement, you cannot afford to miss this video. I will show you with two real-life examples with two blue-chip companies, and I will tell you which one is better for beginners to grow wealth over time and which one is better for retirees for income and stability and beating inflation, because that's the important part, beating inflation. And the good thing is, although I'm talking about Canadian dividend stocks here, you can use these principles for any stock market of the world. Let's break it down. My name is David Das, and this is my YouTube channel, Think and Retire. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this video. Today's topic, as we all know, is top dividend growth stocks in Canada and how they are perfect for beginners and retirees, and also how they can be optimized for tax-free savings account, which is the TFSA and RRSPs. This video is for educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research before investing. That's the agenda for today. I have basically divided the presentation into 6 different segments. First, we will talk about the different concept, the introduction, and then we will focus on the portfolio for the beginners, people who are in the 20s and 30s, and then we will talk about the retiree portfolios. Then we'll focus on Canadian stocks, which met certain criteria when I did the research. Then we'll talk about target audience. We are also including people in the middle age group. So you have the beginners, the middle-aged people, and then we have the retirees. And then we'll talk about the final thoughts. This is a very important section of this presentation. I have touched upon definitely some summary. Then I have also talked about some of the benefits, which one is more useful for what purpose. And then if you don't have the time and energy to do your own research, there is a way how you can get involved in this. And then at the end, I have also talked about the how you can get started. If you have already started investing, congratulations, that's great news. But there may be some people who are just wondering how to get started. So there is a section on that. I have put all the bullets in particular order. And if you follow that instruction, probably that will help you in getting started in your investing journey. So sit back and relax. If you want to have the money deposited in your bank account on a regular basis every month or every week without working 8 to 5, that's called passive income. And I really enjoy that. And in Canada, we are fortunate to have all these wonderful companies. And the interesting part, they also grow their dividends. That means the amount of money they pay to the shareholders from the earnings that keep growing over the years. There are big railway companies, the telecommunications, the oil companies, the utility companies. We are so fortunate to have these wonderful companies in Canada, and how as a retail investors we can use them to grow our wealth and also for our income. But the magic word is growth. How some of these companies are increasing their dividends over time, every year after year, above the inflation rate. And that's a very powerful thing to have. Generally, the inflation in Canada is about 2 to 3% right now. This is as of February 2026. The inflation in Canada is about 1.8%. In the US, it's a 2.4. In India, it's 3.21. You can go through the list. But generally in North America, it's about 2 to 3%. So if your money grows or your income grows by more than 3% per year, you are actually beating the inflation. So that's what we're going to talk about, and we will talk about some of the stocks that has these characteristics. Now we will talk about the beginner's portfolio. The biggest advantage here is the long-term compounding, and I will show you some examples that it makes a huge difference for growing your wealth. While safety is definitely important, the time is the secret weapon. If you focus on high dividend growth stocks and ETFs, which are beating inflation, then you are just doing great. So I have taken, for example, a low yield. That means you get 2 to 3% yield, and some people may say, well, that's very nominal. But if you look at the growth rate, and I'll show you this example here, that what a difference it makes. So I have picked National Bank of Canada. It was founded in 1859. I think it is one of the top 6 banks now in Canada. As of March 22nd, 2026, the dividend yield was 2.78%, and the 5 years average dividend growth rate was 11.07%. The stock price at the time is $175.12. It doesn't matter in this calculation, but I just presented this. Again, don't get bogged down with all the numbers. I'm just telling you, if you invest only $1,000 one time, see the difference? If you just invest $1,000 at the end of year one, your balance will be $1,027.80. At the end of 10 years, you see the number. At the end of 30 years, it's only $6,600. But look at the annual dividend you will get at end of 30 years. It's about $583 on $1,000 investment only once. So imagine if you have invested $100,000 one time, and what will be your return or annual dividend at the end of 30 years. This is not even investing any extra money, not even reinvesting the dividends. And I'm coming to that next. Now think about the situation where you have invested only $1,000, and all the dividends that's coming up every month or every quarter, they are reinvested back into the shares. So at the end of 30 years, you have $133,000 on only $1,000 invested 30 years ago. So can you imagine what will that number be if you have invested more? And this $133,000 is several times more than $6,600 if you just did not reinvest those dividends. You only contributed once $1,000. Now look at the magic. This table shows that you have invested $1,000 initially, you are reinvesting all the dividends, and you are also contributing $50 a month. Look at the number at the end of 30 years. It's $1.1 million. And compare that with 2 previous scenarios. It's just mind-blowing. Now I'm going to talk about the retiree portfolio. Here I'm more interested in income. So I'm looking at high dividend yield stocks and exchange traded funds, or ETFs. So I need immediate cash because I have to pay my expenses, I have to pay my bills. Preserving your capital, low risk, stable companies so that you can sleep well at night. And because you're depending on your income to meet all your expenses, it's better to have that income grow over time so that it beats the inflation. And I'm going to show you how it can be done. In this situation, for the retirees, I'm thinking about high dividend yield, but low growth dividend stocks. And the company I'm going to talk about is Enbridge, ticker symbol ENB.TO. The dividend yield is 5.23% on March 22nd, 2026. And the dividend growth rate, 5 years average, is 3.09%. The stock price on 22nd of March was $73.32. So if you have invested one time $1,000, the at the end of year one will be $1,052.30. Obviously, because your yield is higher, at the end of 30 years, your balance will be $3,500 compared to $6,600 in the low yield and high growth situation. And following the same concept, if we have reinvested all those dividends at the end of 30 years, your balance will be $11,200 compared to $133,000 in for the beginners, where we have higher dividend growth. So the dividend growth makes so much difference. And here we are looking at $1,000 invested initially. All the dividends are reinvested, and I'm also contributing $50 per month. And then the balance is $97,000 at the end of 30 years compared to $1.1 million for National Bank, which had a lower yield but a higher growth rate. So the higher growth rate of the dividend makes a huge impact. So I went back to my stock screener and tried to find stocks which have an annual dividend yield of more than 2%, dividend growth rate 5 years average more than 2%, focusing on Canadian exchange. For the last 1 year, I just wanted to have a positive return, and then earnings per share, I just want them to be more than 0%. So at least these companies are making money, and the price has been going up, it's not going down. So that's kind of my assumption. Again, you can change this criteria based on what you want. You can use the same principle for any stock market of the world. I am talking about the Canadian stocks, but you can use that for stocks in other countries, other areas, other jurisdictions, and you can form your own watch list, tailor make based on your assumptions and your needs. So I got a list of 66 stocks, but I have listed them here, the first 20, and the column which is highlighted is basically, I don't know if it is too hard to read, but basically these are sorted by dividend growth rate 5-year average. So this list contains only the first 20 in terms of the dividend growth rate 5-year average. If you want to get the full list, you can just email it to me and I will send it to you for free, no problem. And all of them have more than 10% annual growth rate for the last 5 years. And these are the first 20 stocks sorted by dividend yield. If you need the full list, you can email it to me. And again, you have a choice depending on your situation, which one is more important for you. Now I'm going to present the data for beginners, some middle-aged people, and for the retirees. And this is the comparison for beginners because they have that long-term window. I know there's a lot of numbers, so please bear with me. You can take a snapshot of this and then sit down and look at the numbers. As I mentioned on the right side, invest $1,000 initially, plus you do the drip. That means they reinvest all the dividends, and then you contribute $50 a month. So that's the situation I have considered. The top part of the table is basically I'm looking at the low yield, which is the National Bank example, 2.78%, and the dividend growth rate is 11%. And look at the numbers for 20 years, it was 44,000. And for 30 years is $1.1 million. So that's called the dividend snowball effect. And if you compare that with the high yield, low growth, which is the bottom, your number is $97,000 at the end of 30 years. So that gives you a perspective how you can plan or what you can expect at the end of all these years. And if you have a higher yield or a higher dividend growth rate, what kind of difference it makes. So you can make an informed decision. I've done the same thing for the middle-aged people like who have probably about 10 years time for investing. And here again, the higher yield probably has better return compared to the lower yield. So again, that's the reason I highlighted them in green. And for the retirees, I did not include the drip because they need the dividend income for supporting their monthly expenses. And obviously, they're not contributing on a regular basis. In that scenario, if you're looking at short term, then definitely higher yield is probably a better option, which is the bottom table. And if you're looking at long term, then definitely the higher dividend growth rate is a better option, which is the table at the top. And that's the reason they are shown on green. So now I'm going to talk about some final thoughts. Again, this is too much information. You can take a snapshot or you can pause the video to read this. So what I'm saying here is only buy quality companies and ETFs which are stable, which have been around for a long time, and only buy them when they are on sale. That's a totally different subject matter, but I just want to make sure that you are paying the right price, and that's the reason you need to do more research and find out if this is the right time to buy all these good companies. So focus on good companies, companies which are paying and increasing the dividends over time. Their payout ratio is reasonable. As I mentioned before, they're paying the dividends from their earnings. Go long term if possible. You have seen the difference it makes from 20 years to 30 years. It's a huge difference. Or don't put all your eggs in one basket. The main thing is grow income over time. The second thing is you have to be mindful of the different tax situations. Again, I'm not a tax consultant. Again, and take advantage of the TFSA and RRSP. There are certain rules about these programs that we have in Canada. If you have some money, put it in TFSA first because all the dividends and the growth of anything is 100% tax free. And if you're on the higher income category, take advantage of the RRSP. So we talked about the beginners, we talked about the middle-aged people, we talked about the retirees. So it's all summarized here. You can take a snapshot. I'm not going through this again, but you got an idea. So if you're not sure which stocks to buy, there is something called Dividend Aristocrats. In Canada, the Dividend Aristocrats are companies which have been paying and increasing their dividends for the last 5 years, and they have a minimum market cap of $300 million. In US, the dividend aristocrats are companies who are paying and increasing the dividends for 25 years, and dividend kings are the companies which are paying and increasing the dividends for over 50 years. But let's focus on the Canadian dividend aristocrats. And there are a couple of websites that I have put the referral links in the description. You should definitely go and have a look at that. Currently, there are about 99 companies in the Canadian dividend aristocrat list. And if you're not sure which companies to pick, you can just buy one ETF, which is the CDZ.TO. And as you can see on the list here, there is these are all the companies which form the ETF, and it has a different percentage. So basically, you're buying a piece of all these 99 companies with only one ETF, which is the CDZ.TO. So you do not have to research any individual company. So that's a huge thing, that you just buy CDZ.TO and then you just contribute extra $50 or whatever money you have available on a regular basis. Consistency is very important. So the question, as I mentioned, how do I start? If you have already started, congratulations, great job. But if you have not started, the first thing you have to do is to open a brokerage account. There are different account types, non-registered cash account, TFSA account, RRSP, and many more. Then link your bank account to the brokerage account and transfer some money. Whatever, you don't have to have thousands of dollars. You can just start with $100 if you have that available. Select stocks and or ETFs. Again, as I explained, you can pick either one. You can go with ETF. If you don't have the time to do the research. Set up the drip, whatever money you can afford, say $50 a week or $50 every 2 weeks or per month, and watch your money grow. If you're not sure which brokerage platforms to use, I can tell you, like if you're just starting out, Wealthsimple is the best. Everybody in our family into Wealthsimple. The next one on my list is Questrade. If you are becoming a little bit more advanced, you can go with Interactive Brokers. I have 3 links on the description here with the referral code, so you can make some money as a bonus, and I also get a little bit of commission as well. So that's kind of a summary of the Canadian dividend success framework. So which one do you prefer? Are you looking for high dividend yield of Enbridge, or the high growth of National Bank, or something in between? Drop your favorite Canadian dividend stocks in the comments, and let's start a discussion about wealth building. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see similar videos in the future. Thank you very much for your time and watching this video. I will see you next time.